Hello there, and welcome back to The Closet Historian and back to my series Cataloging Catalogs, where I go through my collection of vintage catalogs showing you what was available in that particular year. And today we have another Montgomery Wards catalog, this time from Fall Winter 1947 through 1948. And you may have noticed, as it is blending in with our blue patterning table of doom here, this is a bound copy, or a copy that is in a slipcover here. And we think this is possibly because it was a store copy. I was actually sent this copy as a gift, so thank you very much for this generous gift to the collection of catalogs here. But I figure as we are leading into the fall season here, it's a perfect time to get some fall wardrobe inspiration from the late 1940s. And here on the cover we have this lovely 1940s suit with a double-breasted jacket, these excellent peaked pockets, really epic collar here in this lovely gray wool. And you will notice that we have no fabric shortages or rationing going on here anymore in the late 1940s after the post-war period. So she has cuffs on this jacket. There's extra fabric being used in a larger lapel, in a pocket, things like that. So there was some fabric rationing going on earlier in the 40s. As we get into the later 40s here, especially within the United States, fabric was being used in much more exuberant ways than it was during the war years. And here we have a lovely jade green scarf paired with this suit. And it seems she's got some red nail polish, of course a rusty red lipstick here, and a lovely swirly updo. Now again, it's interesting to note the prices on these things. I think it's very easy with a modern eye to flip through and say, wow, only $35 for the wool suit. But we have to remember that $35 in 1947 was this price. So these are actually quite an investment for women at the time, and they would be still today because they are more likely for suits like this to be around $100 to even up to $400 in modern dollars for a very nice, in good condition suit from, again, a long time ago. So we have to remember, these things are very, very vintage at this point. And once again, we do have something that Wards does often, where there is a virgin wool worsted gabardine by American Woolen Mills, exclusively finished with hand-bound buttonholes. That is the suit that is $35. They also have a part wool worsted gabardine. Not sure what they were blending that wool with, because they didn't have synthetics really at this time yet. They had rayon and some acetates, but they didn't have polyester yet at this point. But that wool blend is only $19.98. So there was a high expensive version and then a little bit of a less expensive version as well. Another thing to note here in the fall of 47 into 48 is that the Dior New Look came out in the 1947 collection with Christian Dior. So that will not be reflected in this catalog yet. That really won't kick in until like the next season. So that was the New Look is not exactly here yet. But we do still have a slightly nipped in waist, but it's still a bit boxier here in the 40s before that New Look really starts to come in after that 1947 Dior collection. But we have a straighter skirt shape here, not too flared. This one's not too flared either, but these are paneled Gourd skirts. These two at least have at least a center front panel, probably a 4-panel skirt. At least this one looks actually, I think it's maybe a 6-panel and this one's a 4. So slightly flared skirts here with that sort of boxier jacket shape. But then again, we have the double-breasted similar suit to that was in the front cover here with our large collar. Smaller buttons on that, and then pocket flaps. I will say this particular catalog is great for hair inspiration as well. I wish I could get my page boys to ever come out this nicely. We do have the long look in tailored sharkskin, and once again, these are available in 2 different quality levels of fabric. We have our virgin wool worsted sharkskin for the 35 again, and then a virgin wool sharkskin firmly woven fabric, slightly different, I suppose, just a little bit less luxurious, I suppose, for again the 1998. But lots of very nice details going on here. We have the pocket flaps here on this, again, double-breasted but narrowly so suit. This here, again, the length of the jackets also is longer in the late 1940s than it is as we move into the 50s. The 50s, they creep up a little bit, but they're quite long here. This is, mid-hip or even lower past the hip, the length of these jackets here. And we do see jackets that are lapel-less as well over here with a bit of a gathered sleeve here. A little bit of a different look. But different styles, same season. But truly, why have gray when you could have this? Whew, what the heck is this called? This comes in many colors. This double-breasted cutaway and the cutaway with back insert. This has a flared princess. The princess seams are fitted to the waist, and then from the back of the waist, they flare outwards. So this creates a much more frilly back here, a little bit ruffled almost. The cut of it. This again comes in 3 different fabrics. So we have one for $14.98, another for $19.98, and then all the way up to $24.98. And it's again the same style available in different fabrics, which is just something you don't see anymore. This comes in black, medium brown, medium gray, medium green. And as usual, I would like one of each, especially this delicious rich green color, which they are pairing with a yellow here. And this is how I often tuck my scarves with my suiting as well here. A lot of people ask me how I wear my scarves, but I'm very boring with my scarves. I usually just tuck them in when I'm wearing suiting. So I don't get very elaborate with my scarf tying, sadly enough. We have some more softly styled and longer suits over here. Again, just note how long these jackets are. They're coming, fully past the hips here. This does have an interesting style line. The princess line is cut from the shoulder and then down, crosses over, and then does come through the apex and then down along the waist here. This one has a armhole princess to the pocket, but this is a dart that ends here. Then there's another dart that opens up from the waist down, and above the waist it's opening up into a tuck. So using dart fullness in different ways. This also seems to have an interesting sleeve here that seems to have some sort of a tuck going on here. Either that or it's just narrowed perhaps, and it's a little bit leg of mutton shaped. Can't quite really tell in this picture. It looks, actually down here, it looks like it's a little bit leg of mutton shaped. It's almost a 30s sleeve shape that they've brought into this 1940s suit. And again, if I could get my hair to cooperate this well all the time, wouldn't I be a happy human? Again, like I said, lots of suiting and coats here. You do get suiting and coats in the spring and summer catalogs as well, but here in the fall and winter catalogs, there are a ton of suiting and jackets, and it does tend to get just a slightly bit repetitive. I shouldn't complain about repetitive of anything this nice, but after a while, you'll notice it's the same boxy coat over and over again, that's for sure. But wouldn't we be glad to have these suits? I know I would. This one would be lovely for perhaps traveling around the UK, something I would like to do in the future. The Glen Plaid suit, a lasting fashion favorite in 2 fine quality fabrics. Again, available in 2 different fabrics, again at $35 and $19. It comes in a brown or a gray Glen Plaid, so if I could have the gray, if no one would mind. These suits here come in medium gray, medium green, toast, light brown, and black. And here we have our 3-piece suits, again with some really lovely details. Interesting darts going on here. Has this little hourglass collection of double-ended darts here at the waist to shape this. You can see how much shaping is going on in these shoulders. There's a lot of interior structure and padding going on in these nicely tailored garments. It's one of those things where you would struggle to find anything this finely made, anything this nice, even at a designer level, let alone in like the mid-level average American consumer level like Montgomery Wards here. The quality of clothing at this time and that price tag that goes with it is just miles above what we have now. And these suits are exceptional. There's never been a 1940s suit that I've found vintage that the quality didn't shock me with how nicely it was sewn. Of course, having the suit, the 2 matching pieces plus the matching coat, what a deal. This one comes in black, medium blue, brown, or gray beige. And again, I will take the 3-piece in black. Wouldn't I be very, very happy? Yes, I would. More 3-piece suits here. And this one here is almost got a little bit of a 19 teens styling. Hopefully you can see what I mean in that for those of you who know your teens fashion, early 1920s fashion. But it has all these lovely button detailing going on here. Again, something that, there's an excess of buttons. There's longer lengths both in the hemline and at the hip. These are all things that would not be possible during rationing, but are now possible here in the late 1940s. So my favorite period is from 1945 through 1955, personally. So this is kind of right in that wheelhouse of when things, the best of the 40s and the best of the 50s come together, in my opinion. Things aren't too boxy. I say that even though we have these rather rectangular coats. But as soon as that new look kind of infuses in, this is the sweet spot, I think. And you can see, if we look at 1950s catalogs, we often see these swing coats, or we think of them as a rather like Miss Maisel era sort of thing through the 50s and into the 60s. But these swing back coats were definitely a thing here in the 1940s already. And again, you just got your really rectangular, thick wool coats here. These would certainly keep you warm. And you could wear your handbag underneath them, honestly. you could have had 2 crossbody bags under this and no one would know. Very, very boxy coats. This one has a zip out liner, so it can be good for different weather. And again, these come in good, better, or best for $29, $35, and then $45, which is, again, quite the investment in any age, honestly. But I quite like these ones because they're a little bit trench coat inspired, although in this thick winter warm greatcoat in virgin wool fabrics. Again, these come in 3 different qualities, good, better, best here. They're not saying average. It's always at least good and then better and best. But I think these are very, Samantha Spade looking. Looks like you're a bit of a detective. And of course, I quite agree with the pairing of green. And again, another thing to note in the 40s is the large buttons we have on these coats. Very large buttons at the time. But again, my recommendation for finding coats that work well for the 1940s is to look at 1980s coats while you're at the thrift store or shopping vintage. Often they made big, bulky, large shouldered coats out of thick wool in the 1980s, and they're going to be a lot less expensive than 1940s coats, and probably usually in better condition because they're not nearly as moth hole ridden as some 1940s items, of course, now at this point are being as old as they are, sadly. And here we have some faux furs. Of course, furs in general are very popular at this time period, from the Victorian era, honestly, and before, through the maybe 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, actually. Really, fur didn't start going out of style until the 90s, into the new millennium even. So, but 1940s, very peak fur period. And we have these faux furs, softies, and fur-like fabrics. We have a faux lamb coat here. We have our snowy white softie of teddy bear fabric in the noted Shelton looms. So you can find faux furs like this now and make yourself a teddy bear coat, and it would be quite accurate to 1947. I wouldn't mind having this one in black, perhaps. And this here with the detailing on the sleeves is quite fun as well. But my favorite on these pages, despite the coziness going on over here, is this number. Ooh, baby. Belted, reversible with button-on hood, styled as a new length top coat in cavalry twill, which is new wool blended with rayon and cotton, so it's a cotton-wool rayon blend, with reverse side of natural cotton gabardine hood, same fabrics. Buttons are on or off according to the weather. Both sides are shower-resistant. Each has a welt-seamed collar, reverse storm flaps, double-breasted clothing, raglan sleeves / pockets. Waist is darted front and back. Colors medium blue, medium brown twill. Take me a while to make one, that's for sure, but I love this little fold back on the top of the hood with the contrast color. Can you imagine perhaps with a chartreuse green on the inside and black on the outside, and how much I would enjoy that. Again, these hooded coats are my favorite. Oh, it's just so cute with the double-breasted here and the big covered buckle matching with belt. A-line shaped skirt here. This one has large pockets that are pleated at the waist to help still have that bit of cinching at the waist going on, but has these giant pockets. I don't know if these were, I hope you can get into them in the side. Sometimes we have, in women's wear, decorative pockets. This coat here, again with the hood, oh, delicious. Love a hooded coat. We're getting to at least a few more fitted-ish coats. We have this kind of shawl drape wrap style that's got a drapey belt, and then this 2-button. It has a little bit of waist draping going on, so you don't have to be a massive rectangle. I'm not sure I need the massive rectangle in my life. I quite like a fitted princess coat, personally. Although I do quite like this raincoat here. This is a budget coat styled for women. This is a belted raincoat for women in an illustrious, shower-resistant rayon satin twill on a sturdy cotton back, tailored with a shirt-type collar, casual fly front, and all-around self fabric. Buckled belt, easy shearing under the belt provides soft above-the-waist fullness. Squared shoulders, deep, comfortable fit over suits and dresses. Shirt-style cuffs have single-button closings, large patch-type pockets, welted seams throughout, back gourd below waist seam. Black, medium gray, navy blue. Once again, I'll take one of each, especially in like a rayon satin. Delicious. But finally, we reach some dresses, and even better, there seem to be like dinner / evening dresses, with sequins and all that jazz. A shimmer of jet black sequins lights the shoulders and yoke of a shapely 2-piece peplum glamour dress. Soft shearing and a front zipper mold the bodice to a lovely feminine lines. Its peplum flares softly all around, beautifully designed and expensively finished. In Rosewood's main event, a luxurious textured rayon crepe, slightly flaring, longer gourd skirt has a zipper closing and taped 2-inch hem. Black only with matching sequins, dry clean. And this one is $14.98 for this number here. And this has looks like an armhole princess seam coming down to the waist. The front panel of that has, I think, been cut in one with the peplum. I can't really tell if there's a seam there. There might be a waist seam on that. There's a waist seam for the rest of it. And then the dark fullness has either been put into this princess seam, and then this is just added gathering is what I'm guessing. So the dark fullness has been put into the princess seam, and this gathering here is just from a line being cut from this princess seam to the waist and flare being added along that, and when it gathers back down, it looks like this. Once again, something we could do sometime here on the channel if you'd like to see an explanation for that kind of thing. But this one's very pretty. delicious. I quite like this striped buddy over here with the 2-layer bow falling into cascades of the skirt. Of course, the sheer neckline of this is nice. I do love these high V-necks. You'll see I use that a lot myself in my own sewing. And then this actually even has a layered sort of tulip sleeve. And this one has the all-in-one sleeve as well as this. And this has a giant shoulder pad in there hiding, which I just need to add more giant shoulder pads to my things in general. I need to make it much more of a standard practice because the larger the shoulder, the smaller the waistline, as we know, is my belief. Brilliant colored sequins sparkle like jewels on a sophisticated black dress. In Rosewood's main event, a luxuriously soft rayon crepe, torso molding bodice clings softly to the figure, its diagonal sweeping a flattering high neck that zips in the back. Clustered side fullness of the fashionably longer skirt is accented by left hip by a graceful bow, and this has aqua sequins on black dress or fuchsia sequins on black dress. Where is the chartreuse sequins on black dress? That's what I want to know. I guess we'll go with aqua. More delicious dresses here. Distinctively styled rayon crepes with beautiful lines and dramatic accents. And I quite agree. I mean, this one, though, with the drop waist. Couldn't you just put it at the actual waist? I think it would have... Oh, whatever. That's just my opinion. I mean, of course, the sheer illusion with the flame stuff going on here is very fun. This dress here has a actually set-in sleeve that's just tilted up at an angle, which I will be actually showing soon, even though I didn't flare mine enough to quite get this delicious shape, sadly. But this has pleats. So the dart fullness here has been swung from the apex up into the shoulder and then used as pleats as opposed to actually sewing those darts shut. Whereas here it's been swung up into, this is an all-in-one sleeve, and then this dart fullness that remains has been up into the shoulder and then used softly as gathering. And a very large buckle belt situation going on here. And again, this is one of those things where if you looked just like at this, you might think, oh, this is where the darts are. They've just done them somehow in satin. But I think this is all applique, and the dart fullness and the shaping is all up here in these pleats. But again, my favorite neckline, so you know I'm happy. Over here, I think my favorite is this dress in the center with this sort of scarf drape over the shoulder that's belted in with long fringe, it looks like. Very fun. Of course, something you could achieve where you make the dress and then make the scarf separately. That way you can wear it with or without the scarf, or draping it in different ways, which is kind of nice. Side draped scarf dress with high cowl neck and wrist length deep set sleeves is designed to give the figure a graceful slender line. Made in duplex Senera, a better quality rayon crepe, its lovely flowing scarf drapes gently over the bodice from shoulder to waist, forms a deep loop and extends to hemline in a sweeping fringe. Fan tucks below waistline shape the skirt. Oh, this has a yoke that is a triangle shaped yoke with pleats from there. Fan tucks below waistline shape the skirt front, well finished throughout, looped button closing at back of neckline, zipper side placket, taped 2-inch hem on longer skirt. Black or spruce dark green. Oh, spruce dark green. I mean, I'll take both black and spruce green because goodness. But this is just about as perfect as it gets, I think. With this very high, very shallow cowl neck, we should perhaps make something like this, especially with this slightly dropped sleeve, actually. Would be very comfortable. And again, that slightly dropped sleeve is, again, making everything up here wider, which again is helping with our illusion here. Some more slender lines in 2-piece pure wools. Again, note how long these peplums are here at this particular time period. But this has the, speaking again of dart fullness, this bodice has been extended past the waist just a little, and then all of the dart fullness has been put into, looks like there might be one side dart in here, just looking at the way the stripes go, and then a little bit of gathering down here. So if you, for example, like my block, have 2 darts, perhaps keeping one as an angled side dart, which goes right to the apex on this buddy, which would be a pointy thing in someone with a cup size like mine. But on others would be a little more subtle, and then has the rest put into gathering in the side seam. But again, notice just how built up the shoulder is in something like this. This one, the dart fullness has been released as gathers here at the waist, and you can see there's a dart here in the peplum to get it that shaped. And over here we can see something that is a bit of a circle cut skirt. So this is probably almost maybe a half cut circle skirt, not a full circle here, which we will see, of course, into the 1950s. This also has a stand color on this dress over here. We know how I love a stand color. I like these deep cuffs with lots of buttons as well. Very good, practical, wardrobe dress that would be really reliable. Style it for day or for evening, honestly. And this does seem to have a raglan cut yoke here where the stripes are matched up along that. This very subtle stripe here. And then also the stripes are used differently on the cuffs than they are on the sleeves, on the collar and then on the placket down the front. So using stripes in directional ways that we often see in these catalogs to give a little bit of visual interest, although it is subtler in this particular stripe. And same here with this almost gingham. This bodice is set on the bias, and the yoke up here is set straight grain, then the bias on the little pocket flaps here again. And so they're switching up the direction of these even very small prints. Then we come to one of my favorite pages in this catalog. I'm sorry, ladies, this suit is very cute. I agree, but look at this green. I wonder what they call it. Jade green shown, black or gray. Don't mind if I do. This again comes in finest virgin wool crepe or Better Pacific's new wool crepe. Slightly different prices there, $17.98 to $12.98. So a slightly nicer wool crepe than the other. Again, we have that high neckline. This has a wrap front here that is gathered into this angled placket that is also holding up the flare of this top layer of the skirt. You can see this is the top layer. There's a skirt underneath here as well. So this is, a wrap dress in the front in many ways, except for that it's got like a side zipper, I'm sure. It's not actually practically a wrap dress in the way that it functions, but in the look of it, it is overlapped. Side swept drape and high surplus neckline interpret the new elegance in wool fashions. Draping softly across the front, the fabric is caught at one side in a diagonal band, accented by self buttons. Side drape falls softly over the slim, longer skirt. New deep-set sleeves. So you see this armhole is dropped. That's where the 80s got this stuff from. Deep-set sleeves. Taper to bracelet length, finest workmanship, zipper at side, self-fabric back belt, taped 2-inch hem. Interesting, so maybe this has a belt in the back? I don't know what they mean by that, because I don't see a belt. Dry clean, and again, either $18 or $13. I want one. And this here again has a slightly circle skirted skirt going on here. And this does have a tiny little triangle yoke up in here that you can hardly see underneath the belt. Nice wide belt here with large fun studs. But again, we have this, strong shoulder, but tipping off from that, a lowered, dolman sleeve here. This one is still a set-in sleeve, but it almost looks like an all-in-one. You could probably get away with using an all-in-one here. It looks like there is a center front seam here hidden in the shadows of this to create this slightly raised neckline here that comes up almost like a grown-on collar slightly here at the neckline. But both of these I think are divine. I would wear either in the green or the black any day. And again with the jade green. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Kelly green. Completely different. But this dress without the peplum would be so simple. But of course, I know many people like the peplums. I'm less of a peplum lover. I'm coming around a little bit, but it's not my natural home, let's say. We have rayon gabardines crisply tailored over here. Hard to find rayon gabardine anymore, which is a shame because it would make a lovely dress like this one I wouldn't mind having. In gray, turquoise, or cocoa brown. Some more almost evening-ish frocks with some studs going on, a little bit of sequin detailing going up here. So we have sparkling touches on rayon crepes. Once again with rayon crepe. We all know how I love it. This dress comes in black or turquoise. This center dress, black, turquoise, or cocoa brown, and again black or turquoise for this last number, which has this extremely time-consuming lattice work going on for the yoke and the sleeves up here of the all-in-one. Absolutely delicious. This waterfall coming down from the bodice that asymmetrically dips. You can see that we have dart fullness here in two angled side darts that are sewn as tucks, so the ends of these are released, and sort of matching cherries that come with that, which is very fun. Twin pom-poms of shimmering sequins on self bow. But this high-necked, strong-shouldered, very Joan Crawford situation with a very high, almost slightly cowl. Yeah, they're calling it a cowl neckline. Nail-head studded belt forms a striking contrast on a basic crepe dress. For added appeal, note youthful, charming, high-cut cowl neckline. The soft lines in the bodice accentuated with shearing at shoulder and darts at waist. Full sleeves designed with deeper armholes. Once again, that like a dolman sleeve going on here. Deeper armholes for greater comfort, taper down to wrist and snap close. The new longer length skirt, again, you can see that skirt length has dropped back down after the war. Falls in soft unpressed pleats, gores in back, 2-inch hem, zipper placket in better quality rayon, dry clean. $8.98. And again, I'll take one in black and in cocoa brown, thanks. This high, very slightly cowled neckline seems to be popping up a few times here, and I do quite like it, so perhaps we'll try it sometime soon. Even more dresses here. New soft lines in rayon crepe dresses, warm and casual dresses, checked or striped. Again, notice how simple this is, really. A-line skirt with a center front box pleat, and then some pockets inset, but a cuffed sleeve, and then the dart fullness here, there's a little bit used at the waist and released as gathering, and the other dart is tucked up here right on the top of the shoulder. Again, the structure of that is even helping to help hold out the shoulder even more, although of course there is interior shoulder padding going on as well. And here we have our darts released fully into just gathering. So let's say if we had a waist dart and a shoulder dart, just that fullness is being dispersed along the entire waistline, entire shoulder line, and used as gathering here to create this, and bias cut stripes next to that to accent sort of a tailored look with something a bit softer. Lots of A-line shaped skirts with different pleating going on basically here. So it looks like there's some pleats here. These of course are knife pleats that are radiating from the center front here, and then have a pocket with a detail going on here. I love the top of this one especially. Very pretty. These pockets come up over the waistline and button back over the belt. A little bit of a detail there. And then there's this dress that has the asymmetric buttons down the front of it. I'm assuming this is how you get in and out of it. This is probably just a wrap dress with tons of buttons down the front. Love that structured shoulder and sharp cuff though. Then for our juniors, glitter dress-up fashions, softly molded junior date-time dresses. Not daytime dresses, date-time dresses. And what a fun neckline this is. I want to try that sometime. Still has an all-in-one sleeve over, again, a giant shoulder pad, some large pin tucks down the bodice into a peplum, and then a simple A-line skirt underneath that. I do quite like this two-colored situation with these embroidered rings going on. Striking contrast in a beautifully styled party-going frock with features a colorful insert. Dainty intertwined circles of two-tone sequins are sprinkled on snug bodice front. There's a fashion-wise look to prettily flared double front peplum, smooth supple lines in graceful gourd skirt, duplex Cinera, fine quality burr mill rayon crepe, quality workmanship taped 2-inch hem, and this one comes in black with aqua or black with fuchsia. Back again, corduroy and velveteen for juniors. So we have some velveteen and corduroy dresses for juniors here. I'm personally not a huge fan of twee things, so for me this is a little too gingerbread house looking, but in general, look how far this dart comes up to the bust point here. It just looks like they have the single dart here, and then this is a set-in sleeve, of course, just with a simply pleated skirt. But I actually have some green corduroy that I purchased to make a slim dress, but it's a little bit too light of a weight, so I might end up making something a little bit like this, just not with this particular collar in my case. Then we have smart rayon dresses for budget-minded juniors. Wow, if you can find me a budget-minded junior, that is impressive. Most juniors, at least I was just upset that I couldn't afford Urban Outfitters when I was a junior myself. But of course now, in hindsight, I don't want anything from Urban Outfitters, but when I was 17 I sure did. But of course this dress with this applique here, super fun, vivid color contrast in the dainty swirls of two-tone banding appliqued on a prettily styled dress, high round neck that's so flattering to juniors, comfortable cap sleeves, perfect for day or date wear. A cluster of shirring at each side of the waist, right here, emphasizes new skirt fullness. Yeah, get all that fabric in there. Post-war. Self-belt, zipper placket, self-covered shoulder pads in a better acetate and spun rayon fabric, dry clean, black or gray, each with coral and turquoise. Wouldn't that be so much work? I wonder how they appliqued this, back then, because that would be tough to do by hand, and I can't even imagine trying to do it by machine, so it's too much work. But juniors too get some exciting dresses for day or date time. But with studded belt going on here, and love this detail on this. This is just an all-in-one sleeve, very simple bodice, but with a gathered skirt on this, very simple. Gray, aqua, or melon, or red. Again, notice how they are setting the plaids in different directions. Also, epic belt, loving that. Also, her hair looks so cute. Can you come do my hair? Please. But this here, the plaid is set on the straight grain, and then on the bias with the center front seam here, and then the pocket flaps up here have it also on the bias as well as the collar. So using straight grain and bias grain of a plaid to add design interest to something like this. I'm not even sure why we have so much, sequin and more formal wear going on. I guess people were celebrating perhaps in some ways after the war was over. It seems like a new time that required sequins, I suppose. Distinctive styles, glitter or satin accents. So this is a satin, almost like ribbon bias on the edge of this tier here, and then at the neckline as well. It's almost hard to see the details in this black rayon crepe they have going on here, but the detailing up at this keyhole is very fun. And we have beautiful sheer necklines on rayon crepe, which this amount of detailing going on here is just wild to me. how they could afford to make these things. Black, gray, brown, or dark violet. Dark violet? Oh my. Lavish self-applique intricately worked in a sheer marquisette accents the flattering V-neckline and soft bodice front of this charming dress. Beautifully detailed, the bodice is darted at the waist for easy fullness. The new longer length skirt fits smoothly at the hip line with soft gores in front and gores in back for a graceful flare. Made with smooth molded shoulders, zipper side placket, 3-inch hem in our finest quality rayon crepe, dry clean. And this one is $16.98 for this dress. And honestly, I would charge that just to have to do all this applique work. And for women, sequins lend lovely contrast. Rayon crepes with lavish braid embroidery. So lots of like almost soutache work going on here. This is a nice wrap dress, perhaps. I'm not sure if they actually... Sometimes, yeah, zipper side placket. So it's a faux wrap here. But again, usually when I make these 1940s designs that look like a faux wrap, I try and see if I can figure out how to make them an actual wrap, because why the heck not? But I certainly haven't done anything with this much detailing going on, because that's delicious. I quite like it over this contrast here too. And I quite enjoy this bow tie neckline with the all-in-one sleeve here. All this sequining work. This velvet dress with sequins. In black or wine. Oh, delicious. Again, I'll take both. Thank you very much. And honestly, this catalog in particular is just full up with amazing rayon crepe dresses that I would certainly absolutely love to have. This one here is... got black with powder blue and fuchsia, brown with beige and cocoa brown, soldier blue with powder blue and fuchsia. So talking about what colors they're pairing with these sort of things. And again, a fun bow neckline. This has a little bit of gathering. That's where the dark fullness has gone on this. And some of it is still here at the waist. But this buddy here, she's got dress clips on there. Let's see if those come with the dress or not. Gleaming metal clips at either side of the neckline bring out the beauty of the square neckline. So these dress clips come with the dress. What a deal. Love this one too. Again, another one that I would probably make as a real wrap dress. You can see we have our gathering up here in the shoulder. That's where the dark fullness went. But this is very pretty. Black, brown, or copen blue. This one is actually a wrap dress here, which they call a surplus dress, fashioned for figure flattery. Colorful spray of beauvais embroidery extending from shoulder to waist accentuates the slender lines of bodice surplus closing. The side-swept skirt drapes at the hip in soft folds. Shoulder shearing softens the bodice lines, as do the darts at waist. New, longer length skirt has gores in the back, 2-inch hem, molded shoulders, zipper placket, and our better quality rayon crepe, black, brown, or copen blue. Yes, thank you. And an actual wrap dress, which is nice. Anything where I can avoid a side zipper. But again, we have these bow tie necklines. Clearly something I should do soon. I have done a bow tie neck blouse before over on Patreon, so if you just cannot wait, it is technically available from me out there in the ether. But I will do another one here on the channel within the next 6 months here. I have a blouse planned. We have some more juniors dresses, this time in cotton. Still has a fun sort of keyhole neckline here with this all-in-one sleeve with a decorative like fold back cuff that happens here. We have a very problematic elementary school Pilgrim Thanksgiving program collar going on with this dress. Again, widening that shoulder makes the waist look smaller. And these are like very Snow White puff sleeves for our juniors here. But we all quite like this slightly pirate costume from the 1940s, this dress, do we not? Agreed. Aqua, maize, or rose, each with black and white. But I will have all these pages scanned for you so you can go ahead and look through them at your leisure as well. And we always have nice stripes and ginghams going on here in the 1940s, in the 30s as well. But this is, again, using the different directions of the stripes. So we have a lot of the stripes set on the straight grain, including in the pin-tucked yoke here. But then there's a bias trim, and then a cross-grain belt and cuff. Quite like the gingham. Of course, we know I don't really like a shirt dress on myself. It just seems a little too domestic. That's what I'm going for. Whereas I prefer to look like the dangerous dame in the city, as opposed to, you know, I'm not really into the cottagecore unless it's Haunted Witch's Cottage. That's when I get into my cottagecore times. And here we have our utility uniforms and brunch coats. So these are really good, you know, half apron, half house dress. These little wrap dresses up here. You could make these using the same sort of wrap that I used in that wrap dress video recently to make something in a lightweight cotton for lounging around the house or cleaning the house, as they're suggesting more so here. But, you know, if we all looked this cute while scrubbing the floor, I think not, you know? Oh no, we've gotten to the hats. We know how I feel about hats. I think we're going to go ahead and say that this one's my favorite here. it's just so Victorian looking. It looks like a little Victorian toy top hat with all of these ostrich feathers that tips down. This giant feather poof also I am a fan of. Let's see, this one says it's a tricorn, so it must peak in 3 ways. A new will felt, graceful sweep of soft, fluffy ostrich plumes lends a becoming softness to a dress of air to the trim lines, a distinctive hat with a fashion-forward importance in its high-rising crown and smart tricorned brim, neatly detailed and finished with grosgrain ribbon, band and soft swirl of mesh veil. Black, soldier/medium blue, white, sand, or gray, each with black feathers, black or brown with natural feathers, $5. Once again, we will take one of each color. And some of these are quite pretty, some of them are quite fun, and some of them are exceedingly ridiculous, which I quite enjoy. Which I believe we can say that this hat falls into the almost ridiculous, and this one as well, situation here. Just a bit odd almost, which you can't go wrong there. With just absolutely ridiculous ruffle filled with bows, the full face veil. Some nice, almost fedora-shaped hats going on here. Really quite like these feathers on this one. And this is, of course, a just donut of feathers for your head here. Love that. More almost like Victorian riding-looking hats. Again, up here as well. And this is a donut of sequins this time. I love that hat. P. Let's see. How many colors does it come in? Oh no, it comes in a bunch. Black or brown, each with matching sequins. Soldier medium blue, gray, Kelly, red with black sequins. Red with black sequins or Kelly green with black sequins? For $2.98. I'd pay it now if anyone had them. We have our spirited young styles, especially for juniors as well. Quite like this embellished beret down here. Oh, and then, of course, this absolute sphere of feathers made into flowers that you tilt on top of your head. This one, again, has those rings that balance, like the spring-loaded ring that balance the hat on the back of your head. Useful. Becoming hat styles for the smart matron. It's for all my older ladies out there. I'm not sure who they are calling a matron at this time. Probably anyone over the age of 32, so I nearly count at this point. But this shaped cornucopia thing with feathers coming out of it, yes. This ridiculous, weird space age donut with a bow and sequins, yes. This delicious fedoras, yes. I quite like late 30s hats, and that's what these are calling back to more so, because they are for the smart matron crowd, which count me in, honestly. This hat here with the detailing going on, this buddy with the ruffle in the front and the full veil with beads on it, yes. We do have slack and jacket coordinates here. We do let women wear trousers at this point. Nice. So convenient. Of course, they are high-waisted pleated front trousers. These ones are even tapered as opposed to wide leg. We have our mix and match separates and sportswear going on, basically. So we have our virgin wool contrasts, Scotch plaids with plains. So mix and match your sets here. Buy one item or buy them all. Quite love this skirt, of course, and especially at this longer length, you can find something like this from the 1980s for cheaper at the thrift store. And yet more suits. This time you can get your jacket and buy the skirt and the trousers to match it. But I'm telling you, lots of suiting in here. But again, you can see just how boxy this still is. It comes in a bit at the waist, but nothing as nipped as we will get once we get into the new look here in the next couple of years. And if skiing were this chic, I wouldn't have stopped going. But of course, if I were to go skiing now, I think I would just about collapse after, getting off the chairlift, let alone trying to go down the hill, because I have no core strength. But once upon a time, I did know how to ski. I assume I still know how, I just don't have the strength for it. But my ski jacket and trousers were not this cute. The puffy polyester pants of today cannot compare with how cute these wool trousers are and their little nipped jackets. Honestly, I would go again if anything was this cute. And we have our sportier jackets here as well. Nice leather jacket here with a nipped waist and also a suede one here, but I quite like the satin. If I were like, the movie Drive where he wears that satin, like baseball jacket, those like Japanese style jackets, I could have one like this with a cicada on the back. We have our knitwear here as well. Sprightly novelties in soft wools. Wouldn't mind if I do. Quite like this striped number. And this, it's like classic plain sweater. The fitted pullover in 100% new wool in black, maize, pink, cherry red, lady, light blue, or dark brown. I will take a cherry red and a black, please. This one's fun too. You can see this has almost a bit of a drop shoulder to almost have that, again, illusion. Black with Kelly green on gray. There we go. There's mine. But again, these really classic simple sweaters, the ones I always end up wanting. Although I don't quite like a sleeve that ends right at the waist because I feel like it makes this whole thing look like a rectangle. And if they were more like this, then of course, adds to that illusion that I love so very much. Then we have the more novelty knits, which are just amazing and divine. First of all, we have this cheerleading-ish sweater that says rah rah team. Excellent. Great. We have this heraldic looking deal with a plain that may or may not be dropping incendiaries, and sort of an eagle, some kind, an apple maybe. Hardly know what's going on there. Excellent. This one with the flowers in, again, green and black. Would love. And then a butterfly sweater, which is just divine. If any of you need a hobby this winter and love to knit and want to make me that sweater, let me know. Butterfly pattern pullover. A novelty design in choice of long or short sleeves. Oh my gosh, it comes in long or short sleeves. Contrast color, butterfly print brightens the front. A sturdily knit sweater of 100% new wool worsted. Firm ribbing edges have crew neck. Sleeves with a nicely fitted waistband. In gray with navy and white. Red with navy, white. Navy with red and white. So we have our... Oh, white! Wait. And white or green with gray and white. There we go. How about black with green and white? Yeah? Yes. We have some more wool jackets here. More casual jackets. This one looks to be like an... Oh, it's corduroy. I was going to say it almost looks like velveteen here. It might be corduroy that's not ribbed. Pinwheel. Yeah, so it's the thin... The whales... the ribbing of the corduroy is so thin that it just looks like a velvet almost. Then we have blouses coming in here. I quite like this one. Jewelry neckline blouse of new wool jersey. Much flattery in the simplicity of the sheared neckline. Full button back closing. Dry clean. Red, maize, black, aqua, Kelly green. Kelly green and black, please. And all of our blouses here. Again, sometimes with the most lovely of all details. This one has a gathered neckline in this embroidery. It was very fun. And then I quite like this sheer asymmetric yoke with the cutaway applique bow. Whew, yummy. This is perfectly simple and nice to be able to tuck into suits and wear under suits, actually. Same with this. And we do even have a fun print one with a, again, gathered neckline here. You can see how to do this in my, I have a bug print poplin dress here on the channel where I show how to move the darts up into the gathering of the neckline here, like this. Pure dye silk blouse in a lovely quality fabric, lustrous and lightweight in texture, style with a colorful leaf pattern, a jewel neck blouse with rows of front shearing for softness, full 3/4 sleeves with one button cuff in green and luggage brown print, white ground. I'll take this one too, down here, the all-in-one sleeve, short sleeve version. Storybook print. Attractively figured print in a brilliant contrast colors, set on a bold black background. Jewel neckline blouse styled in smooth round crepe with its wide shoulder extended for cap sleeves effect. Waistline is darted front and back, button back, hand washable. Ooh. Pink, aqua, lime, or gray print, each on black. Lime print on black. Yes. Also, just wanted to note that these buttons are just big daisies. That's all. We have our sunray pleated skirts. I have one of these from the 1980s that I stole out of my mom's closet. So you can really definitely find 70s and 80s versions of these sunray pleated skirts and make them work for your 1940s looks. More coat sweaters, aka cardigans, and more blouses with versatility over here, it says. Yet more sportswear, including the jerkin suit. All right. We have some Bolero suits here. Two-piece Bolero suits. I'll take the pinstripe ones with giant sleeves. Thank you. And of course, a nice clear raincoat for that full Blade Runner in the 1940s look. And then there's the teenage shop here for the even younger than juniors set, which involves this sweater, which is fantastic. I hope she was a heartbreaker, honestly. Good for you, doll. Huge jodhpurs on this gal. These are even younger ladies here. Ooh, another satin raincoat, though. Let's see if we can find our fabrics. There we go. Fashion's favorite fabrics for smart coats and suits. Coatings and suiting weight wools. Wool tweeds and linings. Fashionable crepe weaves. Oh, if I could only find crepe wool that wasn't an arm and a leg. Fashionable jerseys, 3 qualities, in favorite gabardines. Fine quality silks and rayons. Would love to have that moire. Rayon satin crepe as well. Crush resistant velvet, always. Rayon crepes and jerseys. Let's just, make myself sad by seeing what colors this moss comes in. Black, gray, navy blue, green mist, or purple. I will take the purple. Thank you. And of course, G, rayon crepe. It says it has black, brown, pink, sky blue, turquoise, or white. Comes in a 38 width. That's the other thing to think about these is sometimes 35 width, 38 width. The fabrics are a narrow width. I usually buy 54 width fabrics now. So much narrower widths, which makes you think about why sometimes there is piecing when it comes to having like a gourd skirt instead of a full A-line skirt. Part of that is styling, and part of that is the fabric is just narrower. So sometimes you can't fit a full A-line skirt piece onto a small yardage like this. But of course, let's face it, we all want this rayon broadcloth and pure dye silk in these fun prints. We got bows and hearts going on here. I don't know what these are. I think they're supposed to be like postcards or something, but they look like Pop-Tarts. So you got your Pop-Tart print. And this has hand fans and parasols. Amazing. 11. Ooh, oh, it doesn't actually, it just is number 11. And this large tropical leaf going on here. Big painterly butterflies. Yummy. Just look at these prints. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So divine. We have corduroys and rayons over here. Snow suitings and plaids as well. We have washed fast plain and printed cottons. You can see the smaller prints here, really more reminiscent of the late 30s and earlier half of the 40s. You can see, these larger scale prints are something that's more common here in the later half of the 40s, and the smaller scale prints you see often in the early half. It's just a general, in terms. It's not a hard and fast rule, but in general, seems to be the way things go. Plain fancy cotton flannels, making some pajamas, white goods for every use, voile, checkered organdy, gabardine, dotted Swiss, broadcloth, fancy broadcloth, and poplin. Cotton suiting here. Slub poplin, who wouldn't mind. Sateen, my personal favorite here. More wintry gloves, including these ridiculous, make you look like a polar bear paw mitten things. Nice. But we're getting into handbags, which we all know I do quite like, especially the giant clutch handbags, or these ones that look like a canteen for some reason. I quite like B. Let's see what colors it comes in. Brown, black, or green. Green? Yes, always. I have a handbag that's quite similar in shape to this one. I'm not sure when mine is from, but it is a faux patent leather. I always love a clutch handbag, a funny top clasp handbag situation. Big fan. We have a plastic flex that is made out of leather. Black calfskin leather squares individually framed with black plastic. Oh, so it's black plastic and leather. It's like a combo. Part of the reason that plastic flex handbags came into style earlier in the 40s is because leather was rationed and not being used in handbags as often, so they needed other materials. So you get these plasticky Lego-looking handbags that are made out of early plastic. But here, now we are no longer rationing leather. It's come back in and even combining into the plastic flex handbags, which I've never seen one of these, but would be fun. But we have our classic heels. Always note how small the peep toes are on the peep toes in the 40s and 50s. Now we get these very large peeps. They're not a peep, it's just toes. It's less peep toes and more just toes. But I prefer the tiny peeps for imperfect pedicures. Did I say that out loud? G here. Love them. See the nice high heel on these two? A lot of repro brands. And I know they get many requests for a shorter heel, but I like a tall heel, personally. I will suffer for fashion any day of the week. And these are all delicious here. This funny, huge button buckle thing going on here. This very pretty number here will take some thanks. Lots of saddle shoes, of course, and loafers. Penny loafers, as it were. And lace-up Oxfords. And slippers. My favorite pet peeve. There aren't enough nice slippers in this world, because I want ones like that. No one makes these. They make those like really cheesy marabou boudoir slippers, as they call them. And they make like flat slippers like this. But no one tends to make these anymore. Daniel Green used to make them. I don't think they make them anymore either. Let's see. H. Bet you they don't even come in my size because I have large feet. Where are we? Daniel Green. See? What did I say? Bambi in shiny black round satin. A style that will complement your smartest gown. D'Orsay vamp is softly draped at the throat line. Wow. Rayon lining. Covered heel. Semi-soft soles. They go up to a 9. I could maybe try and squeeze my way into a 9. $4.95. And then they have all the corsetry. So much. Girdles and full long lines and corsetry with busks and hooks and eyes and tons of boning. We have our bullet bras of various levels of bulletiness, honestly. I always recommend the Bali brand flower bra. It's not too pointy. It's quite inexpensive. It's my favorite repro. Well, it's not even a reproduction bullet bra. It's just an old-fashioned style bra. And like, you always know you're on the right track when looking for bras as a vintage lover, when all the comments underneath are reviews saying like, this was so old-fashioned and so pointy. I felt like Madonna. You found the right one, you know? To me, that's like, ah, yes, perfect. I think they were trying to say like 2 stars, too pointy. And I'm like, that's exactly what we're after, pal. We have even more small chillins, which, wow, with the Little Red Riding Hood look going strong here. But of course, here at Wards, we have literally everything. Nice. So they usually have wedding rings and like sports rings, initial rings, things like that. But sometimes they have other jewelry. Looks like we have some flying mallards here. Little rhinestone bunny, penguin going on. This is the more kind of everyday jewelry. Of course, I prefer the giant costume jewelry, which there is some in here. How nice. Like these bees, for example. Thank you. This chatelaine brooch here, number 13. 7 through 9, Iridelle jewelry by Richelieu. Featherweight iridescent lucite bubbles in lovely rainbow hues that shimmer and glisten in the light. Interesting. I have some of this. I didn't know it was as early as 47. I would have thought this was 60s jewelry. In fact, I have it right here. So I restring this, and I did it so that the clasp is upside down. So I need to restring this again on because it was on like a very rotting cord, and I put it on some modern beading wire to last another generation here. But apparently this is from the 1940s, which I had no idea. So again, yeah, Iridelle jewelry by Richelieu, featherweight iridescent lucite bubbles, which is exactly what this is, in rainbow hues that shimmer and glister in the night. Necklace carefully graduated, about 16.5 inches long, $4.74. This is pretty rare that not only do I have something in the catalog that is extremely similar, but it's down here in the very room where I'm doing this. So that's what those look like. They're very fun. I really like these. I have a bracelet to match this, and I need to restring this one so I can wear it soon. I think they're so pretty. Of course, I love iridescent finishes on things, so really called my name. And you can get these relatively inexpensive on Etsy. And I thought they were from the 60s, but here they are in 1947. And we do have our rhinestone jewelry over here as well. Even these look almost 50s. They're much more like a Spudnik kind of arrangement that I wouldn't have expected from 47. And this is another chained chatelaine set here, 36. Butterfly chatelaine and earrings, 1 large and 2 smaller pins with fine double chain safety catches, white rhinestones, imitation ruby eyes, matching screwback earrings not shown are the same size as these small pins. So it's a set of 3 pins, and 2 of them are connected with fine chain. Yes, please. This one is $7.95 for the brooch and another $3 for the earrings. Sign me up. And we have lighters and cigarette cases, some men's jewelry, watches, watches, watches. Very, very many watches, but of course now we have cell phones to tell us the time. But of course, this being Wards, there is also everything else under the sun in here. You got your mattresses, record players, bicycles we have here. We have some car parts, I think, fuses, wiring accessories, tools, threading and cutting pipes, flowers, seeds, of course. Sometimes you can order actual chickens, but everything under the sun available here at Wards. But of course, I am most interested in the fashion department, naturally, the women's fashion department specifically. So that was a flip through fall and winter 1947, 1948 here. I will have the women's fashion pages and accessory pages and the fabric pages scanned and available for you to browse on Pinterest. So find that link below in the description if you'd like to see these pages yourself, save any of the ideas you might have saw, see the things that I skipped over because there's just honestly far too much to talk about in one of these catalogs. The video would again be 8 hours long, and I know some of you wouldn't mind, but my voice is already starting to hurt. So I need to go get a cup of something warm to rejuvenate my voice here, and then I will get to scanning this so all those pages will be available to you. And thank you so much as always for watching today. I'll be back here with more vintage fashion, sewing, pattern drafting, costuming, and crafting here real soon, so I'll see you all then. Bye.